Hello, folks. I am doing an introduction to my art journal. Now, I'm interested in doing A-level art. Now, I do have GCSE art, which I got through the medium of photography. This art journal that I'm attempting to start here is more traditional. I'd like a traditional art course like you would get in a school if you were doing A-level art, where you do all different types of arts. In the college, the night school in the Belfast area, as far as I can see, there's just textiles, making costumes for movies and plays. I've seen the costumes, they're pretty good, but it's not what I want to do. I would like to do, well, that's a traditional art, that is what I would like to do. So I've started off an art journal, which would be something you would have to do as part of the course. And one of the best things that I find on the internet for an art journal suggestions for you was a school's instructions to pupils, 17, 18-year-old pupils, what to do when they couldn't get into school during lockdown. So I found this PDF, all these instructions, well, all suggestions or different themes that you could do. Put in photos or images or whatever you like and write them up. They've got to be personal to you, something you like yourself. So the book I'm using for this is a journal. This man, the pattern on the front of the book, he cuts out these very intricate patterns in paper. A fella called Rob Ryan, and I have had this notebook quite a long time. At one point I was going to get a whole load of, and I still have them, I have a whole load of journals, but they're lined. This is blank inside. I used to want to produce journals of photos. I was going to go around taking photos and get some printed out, stick them in the journal and write them up, which would have been an art journal enough, I suppose. But I wanted to be a bit more. I've had I like photography, but I've done a lot of it, and I got out of the habit during lockdown. So this is more stuff I can produce at home. So it is. Okay, so I'll open it up. Now, the first thing that I did was this collage. There's a lady called Nina Ribena who has a new video every Sunday morning. She is English. She puts up her video at about 9 a.m. London time. And she did a collage using typefaces. She was doing a video on making art just using magazines, because they're you'd have them about the house anyway. And there was one article with a whole load of different coloured typefaces in it. Not this article here, or about dementia. But you see, my mother has dementia, and I got sent this flyer in a letter from a charity called Engage with Age, and they want to make South Belfast a good area for if you have dementia, for people looking after you. So far, I don't think I had dementia, but I do live in accommodation for the over 55. 55 is the lower age limit. Most people, and there, I do know one girl who is under 55, so I do. Well, maybe she's about 55 now, I suppose. Anyway, so I got this flyer and I had thought to myself, right, she's doing this collage and it's kind of personal to her. She was lucky enough to come across this article, and I thought nobody else would or would have thought of it at the time. And then I got this flyer, quite similar in a lot of ways. So I've cut it up and stuck it together in a slightly different way from the way it arrived. And dementia is definitely the theme of it. I've written it all up down here. I intend writing up notes like you do in a traditional art journal. Now the other things on the pages, I stuck them in later. There's that there pink heart, a stamp, these little flowers, a stamp, and congratulations, a stamp. And I had to put these in because they're personal to me, because my sister found them in a charity shop in England somewhere, and she found a whole load of them. She said they were quite expensive for a charity shop, a couple of pounds for each one. So she only got 3, you see, or 3. She got 3 of them. And so I've stamped them on this because they're sentimental value now to me, because my sister got them. And so anyway, the next thing is yes, these stamps here my sister sent me are rubber stamps with a wooden handle. These stamps here are clear plastic stamps. You stick onto a bit of acrylic and then you ink it up and you put it onto the page somehow. You can get acrylic blocks that will help you make a good, literally a good impression on the page. Now, you may think they're not art, but anyway, they're stamps, and the main provider of polymer plastic stamps are a company called Stampin' Up, and they are quite expensive. I try to find them cheaper at different places, and I got these 2 stamps off a place called The Works online. They also have shops in quite a few shopping centres all over the UK, including Belfast, but it's not a direct bus route to go and find them, so I would prefer to order online. Now I got these 2 Christmas stamps, as I think they'll be sold out quite soon, coming up to Christmas. I know it's April now, but I intend starting to make Christmas cards about October. My sister, the one that got me the rubber stamps, I sent her about 8 or 9 cards last year. She lost her husband, so I was trying to cheer her up, and we do the crossword together in the newspaper that her husband liked. The Christmas tree is pink. You will have noticed that. Well, I don't have green ink. The snowman looks okay, more traditional. I wound up making Christmas cards as well at junk journals last Christmas, because I came across a course run by the Women's Institute in the UK, which is related to the Church of England. But this was assumed anybody could do it from all over the world. Anybody could do one of their courses. And it only cost, one workshop with them only cost, generally speaking, £5, which is about $5. So I got lots of ideas for Christmas cards. So I ended up making a whole load of Christmas cards, including, as I mentioned before, the 8 or 9 for my sister. And then for the rest of my family, which is rather a big family, I sent most people a handmade Christmas card. So I did. I don't know why I left 2 blank pages there. And here is some decoupage. You might think I just stuck a napkin on a page, but llamas have a personal sentimental value to me, because my 2 nieces in America like stories about llamas, and a farmer near here in Ireland has a llama, and I happened to take a photo of it when it had decided to stand on 3 legs and chew the other one, bent around to chew the other back leg. I took a photo of that. I just happened to come along at that moment in time. People have asked me, did I take that photo myself? Very common question for photographers to be asked that, unless you know they're working as a photojournalist. Anybody else, who's any good is going to get asked that question by somebody who maybe doesn't know them or something. Now, here is a maple leaf. I think it's maple. And I tried to make it like an autumn maple leaf. And this is another thing Nina Rabina was doing on Sundays. She did this video recently where she got stencils and stenciled a leaf and then drew on it with watercolour pencils, and then put a wee bit of water on top of that to make the pencils turn into the watercolour, which is what they're meant to do. Now I use very expensive pencils, because you see, when I was growing up, there was a big shop near where we lived, and generally speaking, everything in it was quite dear. In fact, we weren't allowed to buy anything out of it by my father. If he found out you'd bought something there, you were in trouble. And I would go down there, and these tins of watercolour pencils by Caron Dash, that's what they call the brand of pencils. They were there, and you could open up the tins and look at them. And I did that all the time, never having enough money to buy them. And it's only very recently that I've bought them, that I had enough money, I bought them. And this was about the first time I used them seriously for this here maple leaf. I put on a green gouache background on a stencil. Nina had quite expensive stencils. And also she used white gouache as the background, and I used green gouache as the background of my leaf. And I don't know if you can see it. I used different pencils on it and put water on top. Now I was trying to make it look like an autumn leaf. And looking at it from this distance, and I'll get closer. Maybe you can see it a bit better now. Maybe more of an autumn leaf there now. Okay. And I think, oh yes, and I have to write that up. And this here I have to write up too. A lady, I don't think it was Nina Ribena, another lady did these experiments. You got water, you put water into one of those tin foils, one of the big turkey roasting tin foil things. Put a bit of water into that, and then you put in nail varnish, but not gel nail varnish, that doesn't work. Just ordinary nail varnish. And then I had a whole load of photo paper. I just happened to have a whole load of photo paper because I used to print out my own photos. I had a very good printer that was good at that, which I no longer have that one. So I had a whole load of photo paper, and you put it on the glossy side down with a pair of tweezers and swish it about a bit, and you get interesting patterns. This is the pattern I got, and mostly red nail varnish plus a little bit of, you might say there, glitter nail polish as well. So I have to write that up too and write it down in the page instead of making a video about it as well. So this would be alright for my portfolio to show, I think, if I did this. And then a final piece, I was thinking best thing to do would be to make a video, because when I was doing GCSE art, when I was doing GCSE photography, as my final piece, I did a video. I got a credit in a documentary, BBC TV documentary. I had one of my clips in it. There was a kind of competition for people to enter clips. And then if you got picked, you got to go to a special screening, and you had your name in the credits at the end, which means I can't enter any amateur video competitions anymore, you see. As I did come across one competition that said if you had a credit, you couldn't enter it. It had to be very strictly amateurs. So, isn't that nice? I'm a professional videographer, apparently. I don't feel like it. I just happened to do well in that competition. It was very not difficult at all. They said, film out your bedroom window, so I did that. And then there was the lovely sunset, so I did the lovely sunset on this one day in particular in the whole of the UK. And then they made it into a chronological documentary starting off at midnight in the North Sea with a lifeboat crew. Yeah. And all the way through it, they had some stories that ran all the way through it, plus people who had one clip on, and they might have had one clip only lasting a few seconds, but it was still a credit on the credits at the end. And there was 3 or 4 people with the same surname as me as well, who I noticed were on the credits of the thing. We went over from Belfast, took a plane across the water to a place called Bradford. That was where they were doing one of the showings of it. So there's this here. I quite like it. I've got a couple of other ones that I did, but this is about the best one. So I did a final piece in the GCSE because I knew I'd done well in this competition. I'd just got the results, and I thought I would do a video as a final piece. I was the only one who did a video. I thought I would do well with a video because I knew I'd done well in this competition. And right enough, it was a good thing I did it because I didn't get a big mark for my portfolio of photos, but I got a B for the video, and that stops me feeling the thing altogether. I didn't get the most fantastic grade, but I did pass it. I got a C, which is still a pass. So there you go. That's it. So far, this is it. I can hope to finish it at least by the end of this year. Have a full journal, like a full portfolio for an A-level art course. Bye-bye.